Now, could I get you folks to just cut? Well, that's pretty good. Just kind of this way a little bit. Can everybody see? Hey, thanks for coming, by the way. This is the Brigade of the American Revolution's Northwest Department. And these fellas and myself are members of the 8th Pennsylvania Regiment. Now, I know he's dressed like a British soldier. Honestly, the 8th Pennsylvania, after the initial enlistments were up in '79, one of the men of the 8th who stayed in the whole time said that the regiment was nothing left of the regiment at Pittsburgh except invalids and deserters. So he must be a deserter, one of our deserters. But
could be a royalist defector.
He was a defector, and he's not the. I got it. You got
Whatever you want me to do, I'm perfectly capable of
By the way, every firearm that you see here today, they're real firearms. And so we take because they're real firearms. And in 65 years, the Brigade of the American Revolution has never shot anybody. So much for being worried about gun crimes.
Oh, Alexander.
Let me get my gun thing. I have owned guns my entire adult life and most of my teenage and adolescent life, and I never one time was sitting in the living room and one of my guns came down the steps, went out the front door, did something bad, and came back. So, guns are a tool. Guns are a tool.
I didn't see when he pulled that out. Was that kerosene?
Right here. This thing is called a lynch stock. This is the fuse. It's a piece of cotton rope that's been soaked in salt. Now, it will burn very slowly. So, you know, in the movies they always show guys with big flaming torches walking around artillery. What a terrible idea! There's gunpowder everywhere, and you have a torch. That's a lousy idea. But this thing is just going to glow like a cigarette, and when we're ready to use it, we may either blow on it, or every once in a while you'll see him do this. But it's actually better just to blow on it, to fan that up a little bit, like you would a cigarette if you were trying to light something with it. And he's gonna touch a quill right here. So what's a quill? Well, a quill is the end of a feather that's filled with gunpowder. Because if they're hollow, right? Quills are hollow and they write with them. The other thing you can do is fill them full of gunpowder. You fill that quill full of gunpowder here inside the barrel. You take a brass wire, punch a hole in the cartridge, and then you take a quill full of gunpowder, put it in this little hole on top. Very thin. I'll get it. We're highly efficient. The enemy's a long way away. Don't worry. Anyway, you take a quill and put it in there. So now we have powder in here with the projectile in front of it. There is no projectile today. Powder in here. And we have a trail, you have a path, so down into that cartridge. So when we light this quill, it burns down into the main powder charge and shoots the cartridge, or shoots the projectile on it. Joe, if you would go back here, halfway between me and those two young men that are brothers, they both joined the Continental Army. Yeah, and they did a good job in the drill. They got another brother that's their sergeant. All set, Joe? Did you find the light? Yeah.
Every second. It is. It is little bread. You know it is? Like the wires. This? Oh,
My voice kept working with my brain. Anyway, every man has his own job, and as I give the command, you can see what each guy does. We're going to fire this 3 or 4 times for you, so we might have to, I'm afraid that we're going to have to push it forward. I don't want to do that. Take it out there so more folks. This particular gun is called a Daniel King howitzer. Daniel King is the man that designed this howitzer.
Howitzer?
A howitzer is different from a regular long cannon. The most obvious way that it's different is the barrel's only about this long. A regular 3-pound cannon, and that shoots a 3-pound ball, so that makes it a 3-pound cannon. But a 3-pound gun would normally be 4.5 feet long. The problem with that is it can only fire straight ahead. You could get a little bit of an angle, but if we wanted to fire over a fort wall, we couldn't do it. We'd have to fire through. Well, this 3-pound gun, the ball is only about this big with a solid iron, but it's still only this big. So you're not going to have much luck against a fort or something. But this gun is so short that you can tilt it back and you can shoot up over the wall. You can shoot indirect fire, that's called. For those of you that are in the military, have been in the military, you know that's called indirect fire. So we can shoot a number of different kind of shells out of that, and I'll go on. But let's take a look. First of all, the first command is tend the vent. So this man at the back, the right rear of the gun, takes a brush and brushes down through that vent to make sure that it's clear. And then he puts his thumb over that. Now his thumb has got a leather stall that's slightly damp, so it kind of seals itself to that. That's to make sure that air can't circulate through there, just in case there's something still hot in that barrel. We don't want to ram powder down a hot barrel, especially if it can get oxygen to flare up. The next thing that we do is search the piece. He's got a corkscrew-looking thing in there that he's going to run down there and turn it around to make sure that there's nothing that's still hot. Then we sponge the piece. A lamb's wool sponge, again damp, and he's going to put that in there to again clean the bore out and make sure that there's nothing still hot in there. Now, our safety regulations called for us to do this twice. On the field, a regular artillery crew wouldn't do it, but we're going to search the piece again and then sponge. Next thing we do is we handle around. This man at the back of the box, he brings around forward. Advance around. And the man with the flame, he keeps that out of the way. Otherwise, he'd blow those guys both up. Load the piece. Ram. Pick and prime. He's going to punch a hole in that cartridge with a brass wire. You use brass because brass is non-ferrous. That means it won't make a spark. Okay, you don't want to use iron or steel things that will make sparks because that may put that gun off when you don't want it to go off. Now he primed, he put a quill down there. Now, I'm going to say prepare to fire, and that would be the time you may want to cover your ears. Prepare to fire. Fire! Oh. Get in the bed! What do you think?
Woo!
We're real popular on the 4th of July. Do it again! Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's not ours, is it?
Where's the way?
Sponge piece.
Cover your ears.
Search the piece. Brad, did you pull something out of there the first time? Did you show them what you pulled out? See, those are the remains of the cartridge. If we'd have left that in there and then ran hot powder down on top of it, we'd have been in trouble. Sponge a piece. Handle around. Advance the round. Load the piece. Ram down cartridge. Retire. The reason on a longer artillery piece, those two men could stay there, but if they stayed there with this short little gun, they're in front of the muzzle. Pick and prime. See the quill he's got now, going down, putting it in the vent. Prepare to fire. Fire! One more.
Where's the dog?
In the bed.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, come on, we don't know.
Do you want to watch them do more?
I love the smell of gunpowder in the morning. It smells like victory.
One more. Okay.
Smells like smoke.
Search the piece.
We're doing it again?
I'll cover your ears when it's almost time.
See there, he drug out another
Say
sucker
prepare to
cartridge.
fire, and then I'll cover your ears.
Sponge the piece.
Who got it? Where does it go? Oh my god.
Search the piece. Sponge the piece.
What's scary? If Bella gets so scared to me like that. Yo, you know what's scary? I feel like it's just gonna fire at me.
Fix.
I'm good as long as it'll be
Around.
but I'll get ready to go.
Now I want to explain something to you. Sergeant Hornbrook, will you hold up the ram end of your implement? The gun has two different size bore. Most of the gun is that wider bore, but there's a firing chamber in the back that's only the same size as that smaller diameter. which is why we have to put this cartridge in with a ladle rather than just on a regular gun. You just lay the cartridge in and ram. We need to use this ladle so that that can be put back in that smaller firing chamber. Load the piece. Ram down cartridge. Retire. Pick and prime. I want you to know that I was doing some research recently, and the British artillery, now we're American infantry, so this is not our regular job. Regular trained British artillery during the American Revolution could fire an artillery piece 10 times a minute. Wow. Now, to do that, they had to have several men running around. Probably they just wore the rug out here, running back and forth. 10 times a minute. That's
so every
twice
6
as
seconds.
fast, 3 times as fast, I'm sorry, as musket men. Fine. Prepare to fire. Fire!
Can't help but jump every single time.
I was like, okay, it's coming. Don't jump. Dang it.
It's about 600 yards. Now, that doesn't sound like much. The range on a regular 3-pound gun.
Alright, let's go back here a little bit.
Come on. In the modern army,